Hello and welcome back to the All Out Brits podcast, the podcast where we send the house on all things NFL from across the seas here in sunny old England. Now, you might be thinking, guys, you look like the Chuckle Brothers. Or if you're American, you might be thinking, who the hell are the Chuckle Brothers? Well, you're joining us for a very special edition of the All Out Brits podcast because we're here at the finale of the season. So it's only right that before all the actual awards come out, we come out with our own awards and celebrate all the wonderful, stupid, amazing things we've seen this season in the NFL. And to join me in this wonderful official presentation of awards is Mr. Elliot Greenwood. How are you doing, my friend?
I feel very smart, and you look very smart yourself. As always, you look...
How do you, mate?
Thank you, pal. We look slightly more dashing and slightly more handsome than usual. But yeah, I don't know how the Americans haven't heard of the Chuckle Brothers. They're probably going, damn, bro, what's going on with these Brits, man?
To me, to you, man. To me, to you, man. So any Americans watching, let us know if you know who the Chuckle Brothers are.
Yeah, because if you do you know what? You can have a passport. Come on in. We'll waive the visa. You can just come straight in. Set a lads, the Chuckle Brothers. And from near my hometown, Tonnen, did you know?
Can you believe? You're basically... Well, you know what? It was a perfectly timed joke then, wasn't it? Because it's worked out very well for us. And one of us is dead and one of us is amazing. So you know that it works out pretty good. Right. Shall we explain what we've got going on here? We've got a wonderful set award for many different categories, for many different players, icons, and situations that we've seen this season. They have official trophies for each one, which we'll be handing to the winners of each of these awards. And we really hope that you join in for those of you watching the podcast and let us know your thoughts on who you think should have won these awards. And let us know if you wish that you had any of these awards, because if so, we might be able to get you considered for the next round of awards. Isn't that right, mate?
That's like we still need All That Brits podcast Fan of the Year. So that award is up for grabs. That's an award that everyone wants to win. Yeah. And who knows what you're going to win for that? That's a special.
A night with Elliot Greenwood, I think.
I thought it was going to be your bathwater, Taryn. So we'll see who wins that prize. That's next week.
Well, Saltburn Summer it is by the sounds of it.
Let's get into it, bro.
Shall we kick off with the first category of awards? We'll go through a few honourable mentions and nominees, and then we'll officially announce the awards hidden in this very official envelope that you can see right here. So the first category, most valuable person to the NFL this season. Now, Mr. Elliot Greenwood, why don't you take the floor with who you think are the few honourable nominees that you can think of?
Now, it's really important to mention it's most valuable person, not most valuable player. So what individual brings the most attention to the league, and what sort of person is that in terms of the name? Because I'm waffling. So, the nominees, Taryn, shall we run through a couple? You can go first.
Well, Pat McAfee is number one, because what an amazing podcast he's had going on this season. He's had college football on its hands and knees. He's had all of us on our hands and knees. What an absolute man. What an absolute gem he is. Another nominee is Mr. Jackson Mahomes. He's done more for the NFL and for the entertainment and for the amount of pending cases as well in the NFL. So he's brought the crime rate up. He's doing a wonderful job. So he is up for consideration for this award. And the final person up for consideration is an affiliate of Mr. Jackson Mahomes, and that is Taylor Swift, the lady that has come in, the Nightingale that's taken over the entire NFL and has generated, it's believed to be about 300 million in revenue for the Chiefs team. Amazing, isn't it?
Incredible. And I think all those kind of nominees deserve to be here in this conversation, really. And you have to look at them and what they've achieved individually this season. Obviously, Taylor's done what she's done. Jackson's done what he's done. And I've forgotten who the first nominee was. So Pat McAfee, he's been unbelievable. But I think his talents have been more in the college game, in the CFB.
Very true.
Especially with the Georgia Bulldogs, the Alabama Crimson Tide. So I think he's almost been the underdog of this award, which kind of leaves the last two, Taryn. But who is going to win that award? Can we have a drum roll? I'll give you the drum roll. You can give me the result. So,
The winner of most valuable person goes to Miss Taylor Swift. Congratulations, Miss Taylor Swift. It was really hard fought for this award, but I think it was very well deserved, don't you think, Mr. Elliot Greenwood?
I do. And like you say, 300 million she's brought to the
A lot
Chiefs.
of money.
But with all that money, what is a prize, Taryn, that money cannot buy?
Well, the prize for this award is the most valuable thing that I own on this planet, and that is this wonderful, glorious, one of a kind Jimmy Garoppolo
Ooh.
Funko Pop. So, Miss Taylor Swift, it's a love story. This is everything you wanted. There's no bad blood on this podcast with you and us. So, this is for you, Miss Taylor Swift. We'll keep this and we'll send this to you, darling.
If she wants it, just send us a DM. Our ats are down below. I'm sure we can very quickly suffice in sending you what truly is a money cannot buy gift. How did you get that, by the way, Taryn?
It was about 30 quid off Amazon.
Okay, so money cannot buy it. So
That's the
that's
one.
what a beautiful way to wrap up the first award, an award that was very much owned by Miss Swift. So we've had most valuable person. Shall we move on, Taryn?
We shall indeed. I believe the next award is a bit unfair because we're going to go from the heights to the very depths, and that is the least valuable player award this season. Wow, we've had a few useless lot this season. We've had a few players that haven't done a lot this season either. But why don't you talk through the criteria for this award that we've got, Mr. Elliot Greenwood?
So least valuable player, clues in the name. For you to be nominated for this award, your team must be better when you're not on the field of play.
Very good,
Now,
very good.
it's a very, very complicated situation because there's downs, there's distances, everything needs to be taken into account. But with all that said, Taryn, the nominees are
Ooh.
Mr. Zach Wilson from the New York Jets.
Ooh.
Number 2, from the Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson.
Ooh.
Then we go to New England for Mac Jones. He's running out of sound effects. And number 4, we go to Kansas City, and it is the wide receiver Kadarius Toney.
Oh,
So, Taryn, reusing the sound effects, we don't mind it. But what do you think about the nominees, and who do you think is going to win the award?
well, they have been pretty useless to say the very least. I think the one that really does come to mind, it's been tough on Zach Wilson because he's got clearly women over 40 on his mind. He hasn't got 40-yard lines on his mind. That's the only thing he cares about. So it's tough for him. I understand that. Mac Jones, the only Mac that he's close to is the big one. And he's nowhere good at getting to that level of legacy because he's absolutely woeful. But I think the man, which we can agree, who's injured allegedly, or maybe so not, we don't actually know, is Kadarius Toney. He's dropped more than bloody logs in a toilet. He's bloody useless. And I tell you what, if there's one man I think is going to win this award, it's got to be that brother, don't you think?
Well, Taryn, I am right on the edge of my seat. You can cut the tension with a bloody butter knife. That's how bloody thick this tension is, sir. So without further ado, can you reveal the winner of the NFL 23-24 season least valuable player? And it is
Kadarius Toney of the Kansas City Chiefs. Congratulations, my friend. Get that on your Instagram. Well done, my mate.
And I must say, very, very well deserved. He's been absolutely terrible all year long. So he needs an award, Taryn, something that he can hopefully hold on to. Have we got one for him?
We do indeed. When it came to mind of least valuable things, something that have no use to them, there was only one thing that came to mind, and that is this wonderful sock that we have here. Now, you might think that's pretty useful. Well, unfortunately, it isn't, because I have lost the other one to this sock. And what's a sock without a pair? So you know what, Mr. Toney, that's yours, pal, in the mail for you. See you in the morning.
Absolutely. And I think, Taryn, it's a bit of a disclaimer, just so Tony knows it is not your explicit sock. It is just a random sock that has gone missing. Let's just make that aware so the people know.
Of course. Yeah, moving on swiftly, though.
Swiftly, Taylor. Move on, Taylor.
To the next award in this category. We're being a bit more humble in this award. This is a bit more of a serious award. It's something that really we should take the time to sort of commemorate. And this is the Lifesaver Award, because NFL players do go above and beyond in what they provide. We know some NFL players have provided money for surgeries for others. We know that NFL players have provided a lot of time, support, and comfort. But there's some that go above and beyond when it comes to helping others. And I believe you've recognised in this category. So why don't you list off a few of the nominees or even tell us who you think the winner is?
I think it's hard for me to sit here and look at the entire work that the league has done. You've got Philadelphia and their autism awareness organisation there and what they've done for autism in the city. You've got obviously last season's Walter Payton Man of the Year, Dak Prescott, what he's done for Arlington, what he's done in Texas. The Salvation Army obviously involved so massively in Dallas, and every single team has fantastic links into their community. With that being said, breaking news, Tarrant, a story has come to light in the last hour of filming, must I add. I've just got news that, and this is real. This is real news. This is actual news, Tarrant. We are factual people. And I'm going to tell you the name of the winner first, because I think he deserves you to know who it is. Yeah. And the winner is, for the lifesaver of the season, it's a Mr. Mark Andrews.
Wow.
Beautiful man. Fantastic human being. And I'll tell you for why. So Mark Andrews was on a flight up in the sky, as most planes are, touch wood. And on this flight, there was a doctor, there was a nurse, but there was also a very, very poorly lady. This lady, she had very low blood pressure, she had a very weak pulse, and she needed some oxygen. The doctor, the nurse, they didn't know what to do. And then up stands a man coming down the aisle, from first class, I assume, all the way to economy. He stands there and he steps in and he says, "Is it a blood sugars? Could it be?" So he brings his blood sugar machine, he hands it to the doctors, tells her how to use it, and all of a sudden, this woman's life is saved and she recovers swiftly and tremendously, I'm hearing. And then he gets off the plane, no fuss, very quietly, and I think what an extremely humble man. And I think you can agree with me, Taron, someone who is truly, truly deserved of the Lifesaver Award.
Definitely. Mr. Mark Andrews, congratulations, my friend. Let's give him a round of applause. That's amazing. He obviously came back from injury himself, so to be helping others when you're still recovering is an amazing feat. And I'm sure as a man of the NHS that you are, I'm sure if Mark Andrews ever feels like it, he's probably got a job like yours where he's underpaid if he fancies that.
Well, there's always plenty of money in the industry that I work, Taron, just not in the job that I do. So we'll move on very swiftly to what his prize is going to be for this award,
What
Taron.
his prize is because, yes, there may be a short in money in the NHS, but there's not a short in medicine. And so my second most valuable item will be going to Mr. Mark Andrews to commemorate this award, and that is this wonderful inhaler. Mr. Mark Andrews, you are a lifesaver. You are a hero. Just like this very device here. Thank you very much, Mr. Mark Andrews. We will never forget your service to humanity. Right. We're really flying through these awards, and I'm so glad that people have been recognised for all their hard work. Don't you think, Mr. Greenwood?
Absolutely. And whilst we're on the topic, let's keep it rolling. Let's not stop.
We're
going, baby. We're going.
Well, now we're going to bring it down a little bit because, unfortunately, we're going to be talking about offensive comment of the year award. Now, we know there's a few people with some loose lips in the NFL. We know there's some people that like to trash talk a bit too far. And we know there's some people that just have no bloody clue how to behave as respectable human beings. And there's a few honourable mentions for this award. There could have been loads. Nick Bosa survived the allegations, and so he has not been considered for this award. But there are a few which have been considered. Do you want to list a few off if you can name any of these, Mr. Elliott?
Now, obviously, because we have ran the award, you, Sir Taron, have not also been included. But God, you said some horrific, horrific things that I'm glad have not been filmed, because you wouldn't only be cancelled, but we're talking life behind bars here, bro. So fortunate that we're moving past that. And as a man, I think you'll agree that you need to kind of change as a human being. So we'll move into the nominees. So first up, I think it's been a podcast. It's been a year of podcasts, really, hasn't it? And one podcast in particular, the Micah Parson podcast, the amount of rubbish that gets talked on there, that's been offensive to my ears. I love Micah, what he does on the field. I love him. I think he's brilliant. But that podcast, is not something that I will be rushing
Good
to
one.
listen to. Taryn, why don't you talk us through the other nominees?
Well, I think there's only one man that we can talk about. I think he's pretty much nailed on to win this award, you'd argue. And that is Mr. Sean McDermott, the man head of the Bills. But he's got his head in the wrong places because to try and motivate his team, to try and galvanise his team this season, he said that they needed to be cohesive. And the man whose shirt hangs behind me, Mr. Josh Allen, he was told that he needed to liken his game plan to that of the terrorists on 9/11 because the way that they executed that terror attack, America's worst atrocity, one of the world's worst atrocities, was nothing short of perfect, said Mr. Sean McDermott, because apparently that is how we motivate NFL teams these days. Isn't that right, Mr. Greenwood?
It's shocking, it's disgusting, it's vile, but most importantly, it's deserved of this award. The most offensive comment, hang your head in shame. It's a disgrace. Seriously, disgusting. Disgusting. So, Taryn, tell him what he
gets. Do you know what? His award might help him to get rid of that nonsense out of his mouth. And that is Mr. Sean McDermott. You are going to be given this lovely roll of sellotape here. Tape your mouth shut, sweetheart. Keep it closed and stop chatting your waffle next season. All right, mate. Thank you very much.
Shut up, Sean. Shut up.
In the mail.
You fool. You fool. Oh, he's made me angry there, Taryn. I'm angry. Well, I need to be calmed down, sir. So can we quickly move on, please?
Okay. Well, this might make you even more angry because the next category is Rookie Mistake of the Year award.
God, the
nominees really do stick out for me. There's quite a few rookie mistakes this year, not just from the rookies, but absolute amateur incidents from professional and veteran players. The one that comes to mind was quite recent, actually. It was in the NFC Championship game where some absolute so-rag called Mr. CJ Gardner-Johnson, who couldn't guard Buckingham Palace, let alone anyone near the secondary fields of a football pitch, decided to give a little Queenie wave. He did that at half-time when he thought the Lions were going to be going home and celebrating a trip to the Super Bowl. Well, mate, you stuck your head in, Deebo Samuel. Stick your head in the sand now, pal, because there is no way that you are going to be winning this award, even though you're an absolute muppet, because there's probably a bigger rookie mistake that needs to be awarded for this. What do you think, Mr. Greenwood?
I like you say, that is disgusting. The Lions, he's roaring, but he's not roaring in a good way. He's roaring tears, leakage out of his own eyes. Bless his sweet cat heart. So we will move on to the other nominees, sir. Zay Flowers, fumbling the bag on the 1 yard line. He had the ball in his hands. He didn't even have to reach for it. He could have just oozed his way into the end zone, gets his team over the line, and gets his team the opportunity to fight for the Super Bowl. But alas, Taryn, I don't even think he's won the award. Who's going to win it? Who are the other nominees?
The other and final nominee is the Panthers organization. Because they've traded their souls, their lives, their families, their wives, their children, their dynasties. They've traded everything away for Mr. Bryce Young when they could have stayed where they were. And they could have got Mr. CJ Stroud instead, who's now balled out. He's taken his team to a divisional conference matchup, whereas Mr. Bryce Young has been getting smacked about all season. So I think the winner, I will check, but the winner of the Rookie Mistake of the Year award is the Panthers organization. Unfortunately, absolutely terrible decisions, and it's left them in a really bad state because the shirt that you've got on there, that team, they could be looking quids in next season, the Chicago Bears, because they've got a lot of picks to be using, a lot of capital, and we could see the Bears on a new rising, don't you think?
Absolutely. And the player that they could have got, that the Texans ended up getting in CJ Stroud, you mentioned, he balled out more than Manscaped. He was absolutely superb. And on the flip, Bryce Young, the small man, 6 foot, taller than you, but he's still small in relative terms. He didn't play, and they traded away everything. They traded away their wives, like you say, Taryn. but more importantly, they traded away their future.
Yeah.
And the future does not look bright for Bryce Young in Carolina. The next award, please, sir.
Well, they might need this. They might like it as well. But to commemorate this, Panthers, have a little sip on this. We don't promote alcohol, but you might need a bit of this to forget all the rookie mistakes you made this season. So, Panthers, this is for you. It'll be coming straight to Carolina in the morning. Have a little sip of that with your little bacon, egg, and cheese or whatever you have for breakfast over there.
It's a classic Carolina dish, bacon, egg, and cheese, sir, especially
is.
with a lovely, lovely cold glass on the rocks of vodka. Not provided by Grey Goose. However, a sponsorship opportunity is ready and raring to go with this podcast. So let us know.
Free promotion.
Exactly.
Wow. Let's have a breather, mate. Let's have a breather.
I don't think you mind, but I'm gonna have a sip of water as well, sir.
I might have a sip of water as well, actually, but probably off camera instead.
God, this is hectic.
Ooh,
it's thirsty
hectic.
work. And
Right.
I think we need to calm down and go again. Let's get back in the huddle. Here we go.
We've got a big Final Four awards. I hope everyone's enjoyed them so far. Please drop down any additional awards you think could have made it into the awards category this season. You never know. We might have another set of awards at the end of the season for any people feel that they've missed out. We'll leave that for everyone else to decide, don't you think? But the next category is the Honorary Brit Award. We couldn't be the All Out Brits podcast if we did not celebrate a few people in the NFL who actually come across as proper British geezers. Now, in my eyes, there's quite a few who look like they could pass as British. There's three that do come to mind. One of them is Mr. Jason Kelce. Now, that man looks like he belongs in a Wetherspoons pub. He looks like he goes on an absolute trek to go have a slash, and he looks like he's slammed about 5 Stellas before 9:10 in the morning. Mr. Jason Kelce is one of the nominees. We saw him shirtless in Buffalo. Well, why not come do it in a St. George's pub? Because that might be much better for you. The second nominee, I believe, is a man who has invested quite a bit into British culture and into the most British quintessential football club you could possibly imagine in Burnley FC. Now,
4-4-2, park the bloody bus.
4-4-2. And I tell you what, he was great on the fronts in America. But unfortunately, the Burnley team he's invested in aren't whatsoever. But Mr. JJ Watt, wow, what an incredible addition. He's been really immersed in British culture. We know that he's had a lot to do around the club, around the community, and he loves a cheeky old pint. And he also hung around with your mate, Mr. Jimmy Anderson. So he's going into cricket. He's adopting it. You never know.
Oh, Jimmy.
Right. That's the wrong Jimmy we're talking about here, Mr. Greenwood. Let's stop that. We don't want to celebrate him. Right. And the final honourable mention is Mr. Tom Brady, but he wins absolutely everything. He's invested in Blues. Forget that. We're not blue noses around here, even though we're from Birmingham. Forget that. So Tom Brady, cheers, pal. But I don't think he's winning this award. Do you agree?
For me, like you say, he's won everything there is to win in the game, and this is an award that I think he's a season away from getting. We're going to review obviously next season, see what changes happen in the Brum. But for me, for now, Tom Brady, sit down, please, mate. Do not come up for this award. The other two on there, we're mentioning Burley, we're mentioning 4-4-2, part the bus. That is British culture at its finest. Get it up to the big lad and see how he handles it up top. So we'll see, Taryn, who is going to win this award.
So, for Honorary Brit, the winner is Mr. JJ Watt. What a wonderful man. Congratulations, my friend. You really do deserve this award. Amazing stuff. And he's got a great little gift to go to celebrate this win. And that is a wonderful set of Yorkshire tea.
Yorkshire's finest.
Quintessentially British, as we mentioned. You don't get more British than this, you American lot that are watching. When you come over on your travels, have a cup of this. And you might be wondering, why is it bedtime tea? Well, it's because Burnley get beaten that badly. It must keep JJ Watt up at night. So we might need this to help him sleep. So have a cup of this, mucker, and you'll be right as rain.
All the Americans that are going, cup of tea and biscuit with Queen. Shut up. Right? Yeah. We're moving on. It's a great pod. We're having fun. Fun is in the middle of what we do, sir.
Yeah.
It's in the middle. Fun,
the middle.
always. Let's
But
move
we know
on.
the Americans like to wind us up, and we could call that a phrase known as shithousery, don't you think?
We could. Do you know what we could? And I think we will.
We will, because our next award is the award for the biggest shithouse in the NFL. Now, Mr. Elliott, I know you're wafting it. I know you're sniffing it. Do you have any ideas for a few of the nominees?
I do, sir. And I'm going to tell you my first one.
Okay. Oh, big fish, little fish, cardboard box.
Did you understand what I was on about there?
I did indeed.
Good. So we'll move on to the second nominee because it doesn't need any explanation. For those of you who don't speak sign language, what's your long snapper's name, sir?
Tabor Pepper.
That man there, who I didn't even hear, to be honest with you, pal, didn't even hear his name. He is one of the nominees for the way that he reacted to DK Metcalf messing around and finding out, so to speak. Isn't that right, sir?
That's the one indeed. I think another one we could probably argue is a man that I'm pretty much enamored with, and that is Mr. Chris Wilkins. He'd had quite a few incidences this season. He had a sack full of Josh Allen in his hands, and he also went to go and shake the hand of Derrick Henry in the backfield and then absolutely pied him. That is absolute poo house at its finest, don't you think, pal?
It stinks. It's very, very feast.
What a man. What an absolute man. And another one, which has just come to mind, is another Dolphin who actually filed for divorce recently. Or so his agent filed for divorce, which he wasn't meant to. And that was Mr. Tyreek Hill. Apparently, in response to his house catching on fire and almost damaging a lot of the people inside, there was a divorce petition filed against his wife, which Tyreek Hill said he did not mean to do. Well, we all know what that means, darling. Pack your bag. See you later and see you on the Las Vegas Strip because you're done.
Hopefully he signed a prenup, otherwise she's getting half of everything. She's getting half of his...
Yeah.
His receiving yards, I heard. His receiving title is going to be taken away from him. She's going to get 800 yards this season. One of the best receivers the league has ever seen. Congratulations to Mrs. Hill. Very proud of you. But, Taryn, the winner of the award, the biggest poo house, is...
I think it's got to be one man only. And that is Mr. Tabor Pepper, long snapper for the 49ers. Get your little hand fingers out. You let them know. That is absolute shithousery from someone who just snaps the ball and then goes sits down on the sidelines. What a man. What a man. And to commemorate all that, he has been gifted a wonderful set of delightful bog roll. Britain's finest. Wipe your shit on that, pal. You're going to feel great in the morning. Bloody delightful.
Wow, that is no expense spared.
I've lost all the award sheets. I'm back.
That looks like triple ply as well, that, mate. It does.
It is. It's soft. It's Cushell.
Not even from Aldi. That is no expense spared. Congratulations, sir.
Made the money.
There we go. Let's move on, sir, whilst the topic is rolling.
Yeah, well, we're coming to the close of our awards here. We've only got 2 remaining, but they're 2 very good ones. Now, as a fine man in Mr. Chris Pratt said one time on a show, comeback player of the year award or comeback of the year award. Unfortunately, Kim Kardashian is not up for this award, but we do have a few nominees. And the one of them that does come to mind is Mr. Will Levis. I think that's a big one because, wow, that man had an absolute baddie on his arm for the draft. And it must have been tough when you weren't drafted on day one and everyone's looking at you, but they're not looking at you. They're looking at your absolute bird that you got next to you. And then she sacks you off because you're not a starting QB, as Drake said. You're just on the field practicing throwing. You absolute joke, man. But he came back and he led the Titans to a few wins, threw a few TDs. Will Levis, congratulations, pal. You are up for consideration for this award.
Brilliant. And I think, like you say, from sitting there in the draft room, thinking you're going to go, possibly even 3rd overall. He was up there in that conversation, really, Taryn, to then completely fall off the face of the earth. And also to be pied by your missus at the same time. To then come back just a few short weeks later, a rookie minicamp later, to perform the way he did. Oh, God. No wonder he's like nominated for this award, sir, because that was bloody sensational. Why don't you run through some of the other nominees? I believe one of them is a Mr. Patrick's brother. Am I
Yeah,
correct?
Mr. Jackson Mahomes, I tell you what, he keeps on coming back. It doesn't matter what you accuse him of. It doesn't matter what evidence you get. He reminds me of a Man United player who's been shipped off to Spain. It doesn't matter what you do, but he always finds a way back to the top. And that is the same with Mr. Jackson Mahomes. We've still had him this season, but he's been well behaved. He's been sat on the sidelines. We saw one of these with Taylor Swift, which made me feel ill for a bit, but he's been relatively well behaved, but he's still back. And we thought we were finally rid of him. But I think there's only one man who actually did make a great comeback, and he used the NFL to his advantage, and that is Mr. Chris Olave, wide receiver for the Saints. He had a very good season, and he was absolutely flying at the Saints, and he was apparently flying down the road as well because he got caught, he got pulled over by the police, and he asked them the age-old question of all celebrities, do you know who I am? To which they said, I don't care, pal. Well, he said, I'm Chris Olave. I play in the NFL. And he ended up in handcuffs. But he came back and he was catching absolute pies off Derek Carr and Taysom Hill a few weeks later. So I tell you what, if anyone deserves this award this season, I probably think it's him. Don't you think, pal?
Well, I heard that he was flying that fast that he even slowly graced past Lightning McQueen on his way. That's how quick he was. And that's not me. That's bloody Lightning saying that. Do you know what I'm saying? That's
He is speed. He is speed.
He is speed. So if he's speed, what the bloody hell is Chris Olave, sir? So without further ado, who has
Move
won?
on swiftly before you embarrass yourself.
Move
the
on,
winner
Taylor.
of this award, comeback player of the year, Mr. Chris Olave. There could only be one man. Congratulations, Chris. What a comeback indeed. And he's got a delightful award for it.
He hasn't, has he? He hasn't.
He has indeed. To commemorate the time, Chris, he's got a lovely set of fine handcuffs just to make sure he behaves himself. Fit with keys, might take them off so he can't get out of them. Chris Olave, enjoy them, pal. Put them on your bed, put them on your hands, put them wherever you like. Just sort yourself out. We don't want any violence and any issues next season, pal.
And use your break. You've got one. Use it. You don't have to go that quick. We know you're good. We know who you are. Sit down in the back of that car. So we'll move on to the next award, Taron. Is it our penultimate award?
No, it's our final award, pal.
Oh, God. No way. No way.
We've fizzed through all of these.
We've had so much fun. So much fun.
So much fun. So much
Too
fun.
much fun, actually. Too much fun.
Yeah, not used to this, are we, whatsoever?
No.
Who said the UK lot couldn't do a podcast about NFL?
We did.
Yeah, we did, to be fair.
Yeah, we did.
But there's quite a few people that are doing UK-based NFL podcasts and content creation. And I think it's only right that we celebrate a lot of those individuals because it's amazing to see on our feed. The NFL is growing, it's expanding, and we want to include as many people as possible to make it one of the fastest growing sports, but also to make the fan base over here one of the fastest growing as well. Why don't you mention a few of the nominees for the best UK-based podcast / content creator?
Now, I must say, the nominees for this award, wow, Taron. Not only have they shown up this season more than Brock Purdy, but they've delivered week after week after week with some premium content that some viewers would have to pay $9.99 a month for, if you know what I'm saying, Taron. So, without further ado, the nominees are Third and Long Podcast.
Get in.
Andy Talks NFL.
Woo!
Talking Balls Podcast.
Ooh.
The Utter Punts Podcast.
Yeah, get in, lads.
And the final nominee, the All Out Brits Podcast.
Why we? Well, oh, okay. That's weird.
I don't think we
Why would we nominate ourselves? That's so weird. Did you mention Andy Talks NFL in there as well, mate?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Oh, did you? What about Jay Lawrence and Tom TLDR Scout as well? There's quite a few.
There's loads. Too many to list. So if you
action the NFL,
tag your favorite content creators down below, and maybe they can get it next year. Do you know what I'm saying? Maybe they can win next year. But without further ado, Taron, who do you think? How do you feel about those nominees, and who do you think is going to win the award?
Amazing. Well, you know what? I think they could all win it. They really could because there's some amazing content out there, guys. thank you so much for providing all the content. It's refreshing to hear some English accents when we hop onto the Brock Purdy abuse trains or the Mahomes holes or the Taylor Swift rubbish that we see. So it's nice to hear a British accent. So cheers, guys. We really do appreciate it. But I really can't pick a winner for this. I can't.
I think I can, but I'll let you decide. What does the envelope say, sir?
So the winner for the best UK-based podcast / content creation is... Oh, that's a bit weird, that, pal.
What's going on?
There's nothing on it.
What?
There's no winner on it.
No, how can that be?
I don't know. People voted for it, so I don't understand that.
Did you get a prize for it as well? Did we get a prize for it as well?
Yeah, we've got a prize here. It's a lovely little trophy for the best,
Wow, that's amazing. That would be such a shame for that to go to waste.
Maybe we'll just hold on to it for a bit.
Yeah.
So, we'll keep that there. Best UK-based podcast. You'll keep that there. Weird, that. Really weird.
Really weird, but to be honest with you, mate, now I'm looking at it, God, we are good. I'll tell you that. There's some fantastic competition. But wow, All Out Brits podcast. Bang, bang, All Out Brits gang. Keep them bringing them back for more, sir.
We've got a trophy to show for it, I guess. So one of those.
No one else has a trophy to show for it. We do. So shh, be quiet, boys and girls. Your winners of the NFL UK Content Creator of the Year. All Out Brits, baby. Keep bringing them back for more.
It's one of those. Swings and roundabouts. It's all love, everybody. It's all love. But that concludes it. What a wonderful award ceremony we had there. Did you thoroughly enjoy that, my friend?
That was, do you know what? Probably my favourite podcast that we've done actually together.
100%.
I think we need to get the tie and the flowery frock out more often, Taryn, because wow, did we have fun.
We did indeed. And as always, I'd argue this should be sending people back for more, don't you think?
I think All Out Brits, baby. Blitz 0. There's no safety help. There's no help at all. Just keep coming back and watching the content because we want more subscribers than we've currently got. And we want to be nice and big. Anyway, sorry, carry on, sir.
Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for voting. Thank you for enjoying all these awards. Let us know down below. Let us know on social media who you think should have won these awards. And if there's any more awards, there might be a second award season at the end. Thank you, everyone that won. And we hope everyone enjoys their awards and trophies. It's been a wonderful season. And as always, we thank you for tuning in to the All Out Brits podcast. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow, abuse, comment, everything. Do whatever you want. Just make sure you get us involved in it. He's getting his kit off already.
Mate, I'm ready for bed. It's 10 past 10.
It is 10 past 10. It's a little late, but we'll go to bed. We'll call it a night. But we'll see you next time, fully ready, refreshed, and recharged to send you back for more. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time on the All Out Brits podcast.
Peace.